6-year-old boy separated from his mother in the supermarket began to call out Brandon. I can't hear myself. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. A 6-year-old boy separated from his mother in the supermarket began to call out frantically, Martha, Martha, Martha. That was his mother's name, and she came running to him quickly. But honey, she admonished, you shouldn't call me Martha. I'm mother to you. He said, yes, I know, he answered, but the store is full of mothers. That'd be amazing, you know, that.
Sure.
Would they all have come, or would a mom recognized her son's voice?
Yeah.
A 4-year-old and a 6-year-old presented their mom with a house plant. They had used their own money, and she was thrilled. The older of them said with a sad face, there was a bouquet that we wanted to give you at the flower shop. It was real pretty, but too expensive. It had a ribbon on it said, rest in peace. We thought it would just be perfect for you because you're always asking for a little peace so you can rest. So we know what that one was. That one was one of those things they stand in a funeral. But the little boy thought it was amazing. You know, we do for our moms many things. For us, we just had to go out in the yard and pick a flower and bring it in, or maybe we had to wash dishes or do something like that. You couldn't make mom rest because we were up so early in the morning to milk cows, that mom always made breakfast. But one day my sister got the great idea, because remember the old doors were locking, even the ones inside. And she locked the door on the bedroom so that my mom would sleep. My dad was working, we went outside. And my sister came out and helped us. Well, when we come back inside, my mom had been beating on the door trying to get out. And she wasn't real happy, even though my sister said, you know, we're just trying to let your sleep in a rest. But you know, back in those days, we woke up. It was natural for us to get up. And so my mom was actually scared that something had happened, and she didn't understand locking the door being locked on her. And so we remembered never to do that again. And my sister was the only one that got in trouble for it, because we all pointed to her. She did it. She did it. Some time ago, a U.S.-based company placed a classified ad for a director of operations position. It posted online in the newspapers. Though 2.7 million saw the ad, only 24 people inquired. The interviews were conducted via webcam, where the interviewer details requirements and benefits. No breaks, preferred degrees, medicine, finance, and culinary arts. No vacation, workload increases during the holiday. No pay. The applicants responded to his job with adjectives such as insane and inhumane. The interview then shared that there are billions who currently hold this position. Moms. Truly, they are unsung heroes who go quietly about their God-given responsibilities without seeking or looking for public applause. You know, moms, back in that day, moms didn't work. Today, moms have begun to take the position outside the home to work, but back in those days, they didn't. Workload increased in the holidays because the kids were home from school. There wasn't any place that you got to go. There was no, at least where I come from, there was no parks or places that you go out to. You stayed home. And even our kids, Elaine was mother on the street because we had a little 3-foot swimming pool. And all the neighborhood kids would come there. Of course, she had to stay home and watch them, and all the other mothers did whatever they wanted to do. And so we don't realize what a mother does. Back in those days, they worked hard. There was a lot to do, and you know, it's amazing, I guess, that some of those mothers lived as long as they did. But the kids didn't drive them totally nuts during that time. The applicants respond, truly they are unsung heroes who quietly go about their God-given responsibilities without seeking or looking for somebody's applause. The second Sunday of May is dedicated to that special person in our lives who mirrors the Creator's love for himself, is love. John 4:8, 1 John 4:8. More than anybody else, when we see what exactly constitutes love biblically in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 6, love is very patient and kind, never jealous or envious, never boastful or proud, never haughty or selfish or rude. It does not hold grudges and will hardly even notice when others do it wrong. It is never glad about injustice, but rejoices whenever truth wins out. Who down in human flesh comes to your mind immediately? It is not your mother, absolutely, for she would always believe in you, bear you for everything for you, hope the very best for you, and always endure anything for you. 1 Corinthians 13:7. In this message, I've endeavored to bring out some of the truth so as to show how mother's love is always a microcosm of the Almighty's love, and what serious responsibilities come in the way of a privileged Christian mother. As one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. Isaiah 66:13. A reassuring smile, a quizzical, concerned look, a loving hug which only a mother can give a frantic kid knows he is in the presence of someone who will go any extent to relieve his stress. Friend, it is our DNA to know, to discern who will stand by us. Come it what may, their very presence would soothe frayed nerves. You know, when kids come in the house, when they get scared, when something happens, your dad may be the one who protects you, but you run around your dad to get to your mom. Because she was the one that was just comfortable. Back in those days, they didn't get upset about stuff. No matter what you did, they were ready to hug you, to show you the love that you needed at that point. And my dad, he was the protector, but it wasn't Dad you ran to. It was Mom. Because Mom was always those with those comforting words to let you know everything was going to be okay. Even after you got a whipping for something that you did, Mom would comfort you, and she would soothe you, and she would let you know that tomorrow it's going to be a better day. There we are encircled sometimes by problems, some of which are of our own making, and some for which we may not be responsible, but whatever, we always have our God of all comfort comforting us through it. And by all his comforting presence, which a believer alone is privileged to experience. You know, moms do encompass his love. You know, God, we know, watches over us day in and day out. God, we know that Jesus, he sat out at the right hand of the Father interceding for you. Moms are right here with us where we are because they care about us and because they love. Providing protection to her children, whatever be the cost, but one of the many manifestations of a mother's agape love. Here I would like to recount a deeply touching story involving a mother bird. It is said once a forest which was engulfed in flames, people overheard the frantic cries of a mother bird circling desperately over its nest full of nestlings. As the fire spread to the tree where the nest was, they saw that as the fire reached the nest, the mother bird was fully developed wings. Instead of using it to fly away from danger, settled down on the nest and covered its nestlings with him, preferring to perish in the flames along with her young ones. Now, this is something people saw. I'm sure if they could have, they would have done something to get her down, even try to get to the nest. But they said the fire was raging so hot. I'm sure it was the firefighter that was in her that they saw a mother bird spread open her wings and then just cover the nestlings. And she could have flew away. In today's world, would people do that? I don't know. God went to the cross. He sent his son there to die for you and I. But he gave us a mother to be there with us always, just to protect us. You know, it's an amazing thing. When I said at the beginning, they learn to be a culinary arts. They learn to cook your food. They become a nurse because they have to mend up all the wounds. That's God's love. That's God's love in action. You know, even you see God's love in action like that, but you see God's love in action when you call somebody that you haven't seen for a while. You know, when you think about somebody, and God will bring people to your remembrance, and you call, and you just check. Christian mothers are privileged not only to bring their precious offspring into this world of the physical realm, but are charged with the responsibility of fervently praying for their salvation in order that precious children are born into the heavenly realm. It's a great responsibility. You know, it's amazing. We, as dads, we're supposed to be the protector, but mom is the one who nurtures. Mom is the one who brings the children to God. You know, we many times get credit sometimes for things that we don't do. It's not that we don't want to, it's just that they think of it. It becomes a natural thing for a mom to reach out to a child. You know, sometimes we see where kids are hurt, and we see a mom run to them. Maybe not their mom, but a mom. It's a natural thing for all kids. I wanted to find, there was one more thing I wanted to read, if I can find out where I put it at. That's the one about Fred. We all know that one. Where the guy, he knew that God would save him, so when the canoe come alongside, he said, no, it's okay. God's going to save me. And then they come along with a helicopter. No, it's okay. God will save you. And then when Fred got to heaven, he was standing there, he said, God, why didn't you come and save me like I knew you would? He said, hey, I sent a canoe and I sent a helicopter, but you never went with them. He said, I did send help, but for some reason, you chose not to get in the boat. You had a plan of your own. You had a way that I was miraculously going to pull you out of there. But you didn't follow my plan. You didn't send what I had. One last thing was, and this is for moms too. Once upon a time, a certain town grew up at the foot of a mountain range. To ensure that all the springs that supplied water were kept clean, the city council hired a ranger who lived high in the hills. With painstaking dedication, he patrolled the hills, cleaned up every spring and pool he found, removing silt, leaves, and mud so that the water ran down clean, cold, and pure. A dramatic change occurred, however, when a group of hard-headed businessmen took over the administration of the city council. They scanned the budget for possible waste and came to the conclusion that the salary of the keeper of the springs was a waste, especially since nobody ever saw what he did. To save money, the council fired him, and a large reservoir was built just above the town. When the reservoir was finally built and filled with water to the surprise of many, the town began experiencing no end of problems. The water tasted bad as the green scum soon befouled its stagnant surface. The delicate machinery of the mill was constantly clogged with slime. The swans moved away from the town. To make things worse, an epidemic broke out, bringing sickness and sorrow to particularly every home in town. In desperation, the city council met again. In great sorrow, they acknowledged the blunder they had made in firing the keeper of the springs. They sought him out, begged him to return to his former job, which he gladly did. He began to make the various springs and pools, clean them up. It was not long before sparkling clean water began flowing again to all the homes of the town. The wheels of the mill turned again. The stench disappeared. Sickness waned. And the swans came back, and everybody was happy and healthy. Peter Marshall explains that our mothers are the keeper of the strings of the family, the church, and the community, and of our society as a whole. Their work, like that of the ranger, is often unnoticed, and yet it is indispensable to our well-being. Upon them rests the sacred calling of the keeper of the springs of our lives, pure and clean, so that faith, love, and integrity may freely flow in our lives and to others around us. Ultimately, their influence will help guide us into the eternal kingdom. Moms, what a very special person that they are. And somehow we begin to take their roles. It's not important anymore. We see moms many times go out to work, and we see kids put in daycares. I worked at a Heritage Christian School in Gainesville when we first came down to Florida, and I was kind of like the janitor at the school. And we had after school, we had a daycare. The daycare was open until 6:30. So kids were dropped off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and moms picked them up at 6:30 at night. And I sat down one time and I asked the kids, I said, do you get to spend time with your moms? Oh yeah. We get home, we get a bath, she feeds us and puts us in bed. And see, they weren't being moms anymore. And that's what's happened to our society today. Moms are not moms anymore. And we need moms back. We need moms to be able to stay home. Some have to work, I understand that, because there are so many single family homes. Mm-hmm. But we need moms back. And it's a great day that we can celebrate a mom. And we can thank her for all that she does. And Diane, you make sure that I called you Diane. There you go. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I didn't know who you were talking to.
When you get home, Dan, you tell Diane that we love her and we missed her.
All right.
And give her the balloon.
Yeah.
And tell her there were some big ones over there, but somebody might have floated away. We looked at them, and we don't want that to happen to them. Well, God bless, guys. Let's pray.